Joining us now on the phone is the former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee and current candidate for Senate, the Republican nominee, Congressman Pete Hoekstra, Republican from Michigan. He is also an advisor to the LigNet intelligence website. And Representative Hoekstra, thanks for being with us today.
It's very good to be with you. Thank you.
Well, a very tough week for the U.S. abroad. The Obama administration is exploring the possibility the attack on the Libyan embassy that killed 4 Americans, including Ambassador Stevens, was an act of terrorism. I just learned a short time ago that one Libyan official is saying that this attack is a two-pronged attack, allegedly committed at the hands of militants. How do you view this attack, and is this evidence of a failed Obama Mideast policy?
Well, I think the first thing is you cannot look at this attack in isolation. We've seen, on 9/11/2012, we saw the attack not only in Libya, but we also saw the attack against our embassy in Cairo. Having those attacks occur on 9/12, from my perspective, is not a coincidence. I believe that these were premeditated, planned attacks, specifically designed to occur on 9/11/2012 to embarrass America on our day of remembrance.
These were indeed terrorist attacks, you're saying? Because it doesn't appear that the Obama administration is very eager to call them as such.
Oh, I think clearly they were terrorist attacks. When you get someone standing on the walls and inside the compound of our embassy in Cairo saying, "We are all Osama." It sounds like a terrorist attack to me. Sounds like perhaps some type of an affiliation or at least a sympathy with Al-Qaeda or like-minded terrorist organizations. You don't have a spontaneous mob in Benghazi that has, according to reports, has rocket-propelled grenades, heavy machine guns and those types of things attacking the U.S. Embassy. We don't know specifically who these people were, but they clearly were acts of terror. They clearly were carried out by people who hate the United States and wanted to make a statement on 9/11.
Today, demonstrators stormed the U.S. Embassy in Yemen. Several other U.S. embassies are now on high alert in the Middle East for the possibility similar attacks will happen there. Protests are erupting in Egypt, Iran, Iraq. Is the situation there about to blow up, and how do you see it playing out?
I think what's happening in these countries. What radical jihadists and other groups that hate America, what they have found is they've found the soft underbelly where America is vulnerable. We have hardened our domestic security. But if you take a look at what's going on in Afghanistan, what's going on in Yemen, what's going on in Somalia, Egypt, Libya, and Tunisia, what you have are governments that are either unwilling to protect American interests, which is what we saw in Cairo. The Egyptian government, they've got the means, they've got the capability to protect U.S. interests. But on 9/11, they chose not to. They said, it's kind of like America, you're on your own. The Egyptian security forces around our embassy, they kind of melted away. They got the capability. I've been to Egypt. They've got the capabilities. They've got the military. They've got the police that if they had wanted to protect our embassy, they could have. They just decided they did not want to. In Libya, in Yemen, Afghanistan, what you have is maybe you've got governments that are, they're willing to protect American interests, but they just don't have the capabilities. I mean, what happened in Libya, clearly this government did not have the capability to protect an embassy or a consulate against a brutal attack that murdered 4 Americans. So radical jihadists, they've identified this underbelly of vulnerability, and they will exploit it, and I think they will exploit it, and it will spread.
Representative Hoekstra, there are reports that President Obama hadn't attended daily intelligence briefings in the days leading up to the attack in Libya and in Cairo, the days leading up to the anniversary of the September 11th attacks. What can you tell us about the value of these daily intelligence reports and briefings? And in your view, did the president fail Ambassador Stevens and the other victims?
Well, I think this is really not about process. I believe that this president hopefully is getting the briefings, whether he shows up for a briefing or whether he's reading the briefing materials. That's not really the issue here. What we have here is we have, a great American vulnerability now through Afghanistan, the Arabian Peninsula, and northern Africa. The terrorists haven't identified it, and that's the key thing here. It's not about the process. What did the president read when? It is we are vulnerable. And this is not a new playbook for radical jihadists. This is going back to 1998 when they attacked our embassies in Kenya and Tanzania. Embassies are symbols. What I'm worried about, what's going to happen, tomorrow on prayer day. I'm worried about what's going to happen over the coming weeks and months when we've got these kinds of governments that will not protect or are incapable of protecting American interests. Because what we saw after our attacks on the embassies, we then saw the attack on the USS Cole. We saw the attack on the Khobar Towers. I think that what the success that these extremists have experienced this week, and there's no other way to describe what happened on Tuesday in Egypt and in Libya other than a success for the radical jihadists on a tactical basis. What I'm afraid of is, will this spread, and will they now go to additional targets of U.S., that are clearly identified with U.S. interests, where, dependents of embassy personnel may be living, other symbols of the U.S. presence in the Middle East. That's what I am concerned about. I'm not concerned that much about whether the president read a daily brief. What's he going to do to protect American interests?
Do you believe that more attacks are imminent in the days or weeks ahead?
Well, I've maintained a lot of contacts throughout the intelligence community, so I get a lot of information. In my experience there, I think it's whether there's an attack that is imminent or not, I can't say. But clearly, with what happened on Tuesday, radical jihadists have perceived that I had identified weaknesses. They tested those weaknesses. They found out that we were weak and that they could be successful. I think that they will continue to test our ability to defend American interests and the willingness or the ability of these other governments to protect American interests. I think we're going to find it wanting, and I think what you're going to see is a strategic retrenchment of U.S. government interest in this region over the coming weeks and months, because we can't send enough Marines into Libya and Egypt, into Tunisia, into Yemen to protect all of our interests. So we're going to have to pull, I think, some assets and some resources out of these countries until these governments develop the capability or the willingness to stand up. And as you brought up earlier, we're going to start seeing how these governments respond to what I think might be a pretty messy Friday tomorrow.
All right, Representative Pete Hoekstra, thank you.
Hey, good to be with you. Thank you.
And thank you for watching Newsmax TV.